Welcome to This Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because we're about to decode what is honestly one of the most exciting, but also kind of daunting experiences you can take on as a property owner. Think of this session as your ultimate blueprint. We're going to navigate the entire step-by-step guide to building a granny flat, specifically focusing on exactly what happens from the moment that building permit is officially in your hands right up to the day you turn the key in the front door. It's a completely valid feeling. You're standing there holding this approved permit, which, by the way, is a massive milestone in itself, but then suddenly it hits you. You have absolutely no idea what actually happens when the shovels finally hit the dirt. It kind of feels a bit overwhelming, right? Well, take a deep breath. Today, my goal is to translate all that dense builder jargon into plain English. We're going to walk through the reality of a construction site together, making sure you're fully prepared for every single milestone along the way. Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. Phase 1 is preparing your site. Then Phase 2, foundations and framing. Phase 3 covers lockup and internal systems. Phase 4 is interiors, fit-outs, and finishes. And finally, Phase 5, final inspections and handover. So Phase 1, preparing your site, laying the groundwork. Because, before any actual vertical building happens, we really have to master the dirt and sort out that hidden underground world. This groundwork phase covers the first 4 major steps. Step 1 is site establishment. This is the stuff you see first. Temporary fences go up, safety signage gets posted, and material storage areas are prepped. Then, for steps 3 and 4, we tackle all the underground infrastructure. Plumbers and licensed electricians come in to lay down new sewer lines, water pipes, and underground conduits for your power and NBN. And hey, if there are any existing services in the way, say an old gas line, a garden irrigation system, or even just an old clothesline, right exactly where your new granny flat needs to go. Step 4 ensures all of that is safely relocated before the concrete trucks ever show up. Now, I skipped step 2 a second ago just so I could give it some special attention right here, because it is absolutely crucial. A licensed land surveyor has to visit the site to accurately mark out the building's position using grid lines, offset pegs, and boundary clearances based on your approved plans. So, why does this matter so much? Because this ensures your build is in the exact correct legal location. This meticulous little step literally protects you from absolute nightmares down the line. We're talking boundary disputes with neighbors or accidentally building over legal excavation limits. You definitely want this done right. Moving right along to Phase 2, foundations and framing out of the ground. This is where things get really exciting because you finally start seeing physical, vertical progress on your property. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is seeing how your foundation system isn't just some random choice. It depends entirely on your specific site conditions. If you've got a sloping site, for instance, you're likely looking at concrete stumps. For a lightweight build, treated timber stumps are often the go-to, but if you're working with a perfectly level site, a concrete slab is incredibly common that utilizes a crushed rock base, a moisture membrane, and waffle pods, which, by the way, are essentially just these giant foam blocks used to create a really strong ribbed concrete slab. And just a quick heads up, right before that concrete is poured, your building surveyor will likely drop by for a mandatory footing inspection. Once that base cures, we hit step 6, the frame stage. This is where the structural skeleton of the building actually gets constructed. It's a huge moment because suddenly you can actually walk through the space. The external and internal load-bearing walls go up, the door and window openings take shape, and the roof frame, whether that's prefabricated trusses or conventional framing with rafters and a ridge beam, gets tied down tight. And remember, before any of this beautiful timber work gets covered up, the building surveyor absolutely must come out to inspect the structural frame. Next up is Phase 3, lockup and internal systems, the messy middle. We're getting the structure sealed off from the weather and firing up the hidden internal life support systems. Let's take a second to demystify a major industry term you are going to hear constantly, lock-up stage. This is step 7, and it is the magical point where the building is officially weatherproof. You can finally stop obsessively checking your phone's rain forecast. At this stage, the metal roofing or tiles are on, the gutters and downpipes are fixed, and the external cladding, whether that's weatherboards, brick veneer, or Hebel panels, is fully installed. Crucially, your external doors and aluminum windows, maybe even double-glazed ones if you specified them, are locked firmly into place. So the crucial point is what happens immediately after lockup in step 8, the rough-in stage. The building is secure now, so the licensed trades just rush in to install all the concealed surfaces. We're talking about the hot and cold water pipes, the power and lighting circuits, the NBN data cabling, and the pipework for your split system air conditioning. All of this vital plumbing and electrical wiring has to be perfectly positioned right now because very soon it's going to be hidden forever behind the walls. Steps 9 and 10 are where the inside really truly starts looking like a home. First, the wall and ceiling insulation goes in, followed by the plasterboard. Now, in the wet areas, they'll use a specific fibrous cement sheeting, which is often called Villaboard, and then that's followed by stopping and sanding. Once the walls are lined, step 10 kicks in, waterproofing. A licensed waterproofer meticulously prepares the shower recess, the bathroom, and the laundry floors to incredibly strict Australian standards to prevent any water ingress. You definitely do not want leaks. All right, Phase 4, interiors, fit-outs, and finishes, making it a home. This is where your design choices finally come to life in a huge visual transformation. And this brilliantly illustrates just how massive Step 11, the fit-out stage, really is. It operates on a huge scale. Your internal doors and skirting boards are hung, kitchen and bathroom cabinetry are installed, topped off with your choice of gorgeous stone, laminate, or timber bench tops. The tiler works their absolute magic on the splashbacks, while painters are busy applying sealers and undercoats. Then your flooring goes down. Finally, we have the fit-offs. That's when the plumber installs the toilets, basins, and tapware, and the electrician fits all the light switches and smoke alarms. I mean, you can practically picture yourself walking through the finished space, right? Now, while the inside is getting all glammed up, Step 12 ensures the outside gets just as much love. The external works wrap up the physical build. This might include pouring concrete to tie in a new driveway, building a beautiful timber deck or veranda, installing a clothesline or letterbox, and finally, doing a massive site cleanup to remove all that leftover construction debris. Which brings us to our final phase, Phase 5, final inspections and handover, crossing the finish line. These are the crucial final legal and quality control hurdles before you can finally move in. These last 3 steps, 13, 14, and 15, are all about checking the work. First up is practical completion. The builder tests all the appliances and touches up the paint, and you, as the owner, get to do a thorough inspection to identify any minor defects. This is known as a punch list, and it notes anything that needs a quick fix. Then, the building surveyor returns for one last mandatory inspection to ensure absolutely everything complies with the Building Code of Australia. If it passes, they issue the occupancy permit, legally approving the granny flat for occupation, which leads us to Step 15, the formal handover. Let's move on and see how this builds into your final documentation package, because honestly, you might think handover is just about getting the keys, but this paperwork is just as important for your long-term peace of mind. Yes, you get the physical keys and access devices, but you also receive the occupancy permit, strict certificates of compliance for both the plumbing and electrical works, your waterproofing warranty, and all your shiny new appliance manuals. You'll also get a maintenance guide outlining the builder's defect liability period. Seriously, hold on to this paperwork. It's the ultimate proof of a job legally and correctly done. And just like that, the 15 steps are complete. The dirt has been transformed into a doorstep. The builder packs up, the temporary fences come down, and you are standing in front of a brand new, fully certified living space. You've navigated the permits, you've survived the messy middle, and you've secured the final paperwork. So I'll leave you with this exciting thought. Now that the build is done, who will you welcome home first? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and good luck with your upcoming project.